Hello everyone and welcome to episode 29 of the 8BritGameChat. As always, we're 8BritGaming and I'm your host Tom Powter. Joining me is Tom Roach, Adam Bennett and Javid Rahman. Guys, remember to subscribe to our channel and like the video. We'd really appreciate the support, and leave a comment below if you like what you see. Bennett, what's your topic?
So my topic for this game chat is, why do you guys think, if you do think this, that video games are not held in the same cultural regard as films, books? Discuss.
Because they're newer.
Okay, if I just contextualise the question a bit more. So, with films, you have, festivals like the Oscars, Cannes, haute couture, as they say in La France.
Been practicing, haven't you?
Yeah. Whereas games are not high culture. They are not seen as high culture at all. Books obviously are. Why? Is there something intrinsically about games that means they never will be? Or is it just something that's going to get caught up with?
I think it's going to get caught up with more than never will be.
Do you think...
Because already we've got things like the video game BAFTAs.
Oh, they're bollocks.
Well, I don't know. I think they do a decent job. I think
to be fair, the Oscars are a load of bollocks.
Yeah. I think it's the sort of thing that just needs more time to mature. Like the video game BAFTAs haven't even been going a decade, I don't think, yet. So it's the sort of thing that will get more and more recognised. They'll know what they're doing eventually.
I just think right now is a very interesting time for video games culturally, because I don't think video games have ever been more culturally accepted as they are now.
Yeah, they haven't.
And yet there is still this kind of glass ceiling for them. Take the video that I showed you guys earlier doing the rounds at the minute, Jimmy Kimmel, who has had... I don't actually mind Jimmy Kimmel. I think some of what he does is funny. Some of it isn't, kind of like most comedians really. Yeah. But he makes a point that he thinks that YouTube gaming is a waste of time, or as he actually says it, a double waste of time, because video games are a waste of time in the first place, and what you're actually doing is watching people play video games, which is dumb in his words. But I watch a programme with, well, not every Saturday, but most Saturdays I watch a programme with my dad called Gillette Soccer Saturday, because I love football. Now that show is 6 blokes. You don't even get to watch the football. You're just watching these 6 blokes watching their TV monitors. You don't get to see what's on them. You just get to see them going,
It's the same as that Gogglebox show.
Yeah, and Gogglebox as well. And both that and Gillette Soccer Saturday are watched by millions every week.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see a similar audience for video game championships, if not even bigger in certain regions of the world.
Yeah, I mean, look at the amount of views PewDiePie brings in on every single one of his videos. Every single video gets multiple millions of views. And
God. But
you're disgraced here.
He does not like you.
No, I really don't.
Careful.
But
yeah, exactly.
His people are everywhere.
It's definitely just a generational thing. I think it comes down to a generational thing. Like, obviously, everyone watches TV. Well, not everyone, obviously, but like the older generations love TV. People watch it all the time, and they think video games are a waste of time. That's always been a bit inexplicable to me, because video games are essentially the same thing as TV, except you actually interact in video games, and therefore, in my opinion, it's even less of a waste of time than TV.
Because you're
in that sense, yeah, and video games, there is definitely the argument there. They can help stimulate your mind and stuff like that, and reflexes and stuff like that. TV, you're literally sitting there.
Like an upturned turtle.
I suppose
slumped in the sofa or whatever, literally watching TV.
The common sort of stereotype about your average gamer, peddled by the likes of Kimmel, is that you are a sort of slobbish, sexually frustrated man, which we four disprove with our very existence. but how do you think we can really combat that? Because did film ever have that kind of problem? Books? I don't know.
I think it did at the start. People were really baffled at film when it first started.
Really?
Because they were like, why do you sit?
I know there's a famous thing about people saying TV was a fad, but I don't think there was such an ingrained cultural acceptance that gamers are nerds as there ever has been for people who watch films.
No, I don't think so. I'll tell you why though, and this is my personal opinion. Obviously when TV came around, the generation who now don't really accept gaming for the most part, well, the generation and the generation before that who were really introduced to TV. And so everyone kind of got on that boat at the same time. And now games have come up, and the older generation are the ones mainly who have stigmatised gaming as being this thing that's not.
You know what? I'm going to reject that.
Go on.
I don't think it is just the older generation. I think. Well, firstly, there's that famous stat that the average age of a gamer is 34. I'm not sure if that's true more, but that was true a couple of years ago. So it's probably.
It's about then. That's what I was going to get on with the young thing. The impression is that it's played by young people in general, and instead of going out and riding bikes or whatever, everyone's just sitting inside playing video games, and therefore it's not an adult thing to do. But as you were saying, and it is generally true that the age is increasing as well. And like, for example, okay, it's a casual game, but Candy Crush, the biggest market for that it's like over 50s.
Yeah.
So there are people playing.
Let me put this to you, right? Tabletop board games have been around for a hell of a lot longer than video games have, and they have still not escaped the cultural stigma that they are played by.
Well, there are different ones, aren't there? Like you traditional.
Well, your sort of Monopoly.
Yeah, that's all fine.
Yeah.
Things like.
But the thing is, you don't play Monopoly religiously, do you?
No, I see what you mean. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Monopoly's not a hobby.
No.
In the way that gaming.
Well, some people will.
Yeah.
Sunday night comes along, they're just having their supper. Oh, shall we get the Monopoly board now?
Yeah. But just on your point about it being the older generation that's rejected games, go back to your time at school. Do you still think that's true?
What? don't think I was ever really chastised for playing video games.
No,
at
not.
school.
I'd say at least 50% of my form, for example, played.
Yeah,
Even if they played like
think
FIFA,
most people
but
our
played
age,
video games.
gaming is really quite accepted. And from our age downwards now, gaming is basically.
I think that we have surrounded ourselves with people who also play video games.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think there was some, especially even in primary school, people like, oh, you play video games, it's so weird.
I honestly
had
never ever had that. I was more chastised for the fact I played Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah. I never had it for video games.
I'll point out something that there's still, because gaming has become more mainstream, you can't argue about that.
Yeah.
More people play COD now. But COD players will sort of frown upon Nintendo. They're like,
Yeah, but then we'll frown upon COD players. That's a thing going on in
kind
video
of
games itself.
very ironic that you are frowning on COD players as you make that comment.
Yeah.
No, it's just the sort of thing that people say, they see it as, oh, this game's acceptable, this isn't. But at the end of the day, this all comes down to people not being able to deal with how other people spend their time.
We're kind of looking at this inside the video game world. I think what you're talking about is obviously the people outside the video game world are kind of like.
My sort of connection to the outside world probably comes most through my girlfriend Jen, who was not into.
Trying to make a point here.
What? Oh,
You're not right.
I've got a girlfriend too. Just.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, but
that's the new low.
I've never actually met Jade, but am I right in saying that she is quite into games?
Not really.
Oh, I'm wrong.
Yeah, she's not really. I mean, if you're watching this, you probably will be, if you really love me.
She's really bad if she doesn't now.
She likes like Mario Kart and stuff like that, but she's not like into games like I am. Not even really half that.
Bloodborne! Like that.
No, it's more Bloodborne. Why the fuck are you still playing that at 2 in the morning? But she's not really into them like I am. She enjoys the occasional game, and she doesn't see anything wrong with gaming. Like, she doesn't go, you're all fucking weird. But she's not. She's kind of on the fringe, let's say. I don't know what Jen's like either.
Well, she was before.
She created the gem, Sammy the Squirrel.
Sammy the Squirrel's Endless Adventure. Basically, very quickly, this is a game that me and Jen made on a game called Project Spark for the Xbox One. We had a play about with that, and we made a game called Sammy the Squirrel's Endless Adventure, where you play as a squirrel collecting coins from goblins, but we just couldn't figure out how to put an end to the game. So it's become Sammy the Squirrel's Endless Adventure, or Sammy the Squirrel's Endless Adven, because there's not enough characters in the name creation box to actually put adventure.
Yeah.
Anyway,
see, I was just going to say, you can relate to this, Roach. The last time I had Jade down, I had her playing Sound Shapes. Death mode. Didn't go down well.
But no, before I started going out with Jen, the only games that she'd actually play. I mean, she played Pokemon as a kid,
Yeah,
but everyone did.
Yeah.
The only games that she played were sort of Just Dance and SingStar. And I've questioned whether they really count. Not wanting to be a snob.
No. I'd say they count because if you look at the wider world of the outside the gaming bubble, they're probably not thinking about the fact that probably a lot of them are playing video games, but they are playing them on.
Yeah, but this is this whole debate about whether Twitter and Facebook are video games.
No, I'm not meaning that, but I mean like people play Farmville or Candy Crush.
Right, yeah.
They are video games. They're just not traditional.
Is there a debate
video
about
games.
Twitter and Facebook being video games?
Some people say that they are.
not.
I've got a book upstairs about that. My lecturer wrote.
Charlie Brooker said that they are because you're creating an avatar loosely based on yourself to interact with other people's avatars.
And then he says, "How? Am I right?"
No, he doesn't.
He does.
Anyway, back to the topic at hand.
Yeah, back to the topic at hand. There is a real kind of reluctant. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but there was a kind of absolute divide between stuff that I was really into and kind of introducing that to Jen. But now we're at a point where I've not been good for her. I've got her hooked on Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
It's insane. Turnips are our lives. 40 bells today. I bought them for 96. They were 180 yesterday, but I was greedy. I wanted more.
Error, Adam.
I definitely think there used to be that massive divide, and I think there are three main things that suddenly opened the world up to games.
Go on.
FIFA, especially in this country.
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And the Wii.
Yeah, the Wii got into
The
ordinary
Wii
homes.
was, I think a lot of people's first look at, alright, especially since it's Japanese as well. And all that coming into people who had never played video games before. To start with a Nintendo game rather than like a shooter, I think kind of opened the doors a little bit. And I think the DS also played a part.
Brain training.
Yeah, brain training, yeah.
Yeah. But that kind of implies that it was that generation of consoles that really caused explosion.
Maybe it was.
But I
definitely think they probably had a big part of playing.
Isn't it like the Wii sold about as many copies as PS2?
No, PS2 still more.
PS2 did.
PS2 did more.
PS2
Yeah,
had DVD
but there was no
okay.
competition as well from
Yeah,
PS2.
PS2 was the first time you could easily get a DVD player.
Yeah, okay. Alright, I take that back. So then maybe you could lump the PS2 into that list.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Well, you've also got like...
Because FIFA was on the PS2 and it was
exactly, yeah.
Well, it's like, it's been a thing that you notice more and more these days. Like, I mean, you don't watch live TV at all, so you probably don't. But there are games advertised on TV now. Alongside this DVD's coming out, there's this video game's coming out, which never used to happen before. Whereas now, it's kind of, okay, it's only the big games, but you see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only the big films.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Like, I mean...
but like I was, another example of this advertising thing, on my way to TJ, there was a massive Batman Arkham Knight poster splashed across one of the tube stations.
Yeah, there you go. That wouldn't have happened probably even 5 years ago.
Yeah.
No, I think...
And sorry, just quickly, I think people will walk past that poster and just be like, oh, that's...
It's just an advert.
I think that by the... I totally accept that video games are vastly gaining cultural acceptance and reverence, but I think they occupy a very unique cultural space that they will always be seen as a kind of outside hobby, not something like film or something like that. That's just my view. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't have enough perspective.
Well, there's something I want to add if we've got time. I think video games have come along almost in parallel with the advent of the internet, and the two of them have interwoven in a way that TV and music haven't in the same way.
Certainly games have exploded.
And so like, for example, YouTube, which is not just a gaming website, it's a website used by everyone, is vehemently against Jimmy Kimmel's video. Those dislikes, it's like 83,000 dislikes, 13,000. The internet is the realm of video of games now. That's why PewDiePie is getting 3 million, 4 million views per video, which is a TV show would love to get those kind of views every single episode.
Yeah, very true.
And it's a new frontier. Let's say the internet now that's the place where the video game.
Well, I just think that this, because it's still a new medium, but I think we can see it overtaking other media. I think film as we know it is dying. I think television as we know it is dying. Just like we got Netflix and
by which you mean like sitting around the TV at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night is dying, yeah.
Like, I
not this Saturday, though, Strictly Come Dancing.
Going to the cinema as well, it's a shame, but that's...
But I think gaming just offers more value for money, and a lecturer at my uni gave this argument about how games give the illusion of free will, because the game only allows you to do what the programmers have made, and that's still more than you'll get out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is what I was saying earlier. Yeah, about a bit more interactive. In that it is interactive.
Yeah.
And you bring up value for money. When you think about it, most games are actually incredible value for money.
150 hours. That's what, it's 40 quid.
Yeah,
you go to the cinema for 2 hours, tenner.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably more in London.
Phantom Pain I bought yesterday, I've already amassed 18 hours, paid 50 quid for it.
Yeah.
And, you know, cinema, for 50 hours of films, we're talking hundreds of pounds.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that game's not going to run out, so I'm going to play it more. And then I can always trade it in, I can keep it, I can come back to it. Even buying a DVD is quite expensive when you've already seen it. You've seen it at the cinema.
And you're not going to play that every day for multiple times a day, are you?
Yeah. In fact, I usually game for a while. Like, I don't usually go on for just an hour or 2 hours. I do like 4 or 5 hours.
I think it's an interesting. There was a point you made about a minute ago about the illusion of free will.
Yeah.
And I remember talking about that with someone else, and it's. I would never have said that games do give me free will. Like, take The Witcher 3, I absolutely love it, I know not everyone does, but I think it's absolutely brilliant, and it is this just enormous sandbox. But I would never say that I've got free will when I'm playing it, because I can only do things as Geralt. But that wouldn't be why I play games, because I wouldn't say the attraction is free will, I'd say the attraction is the ability to create my own story in this giant book, in this sort of book that's written by someone else, I could write my own chapter in it.
Yeah.
But this thing that people argue, it's just the same as a film. But if you say it's just the same as a film, it should be on equal footing as a film. Because I think if you look at games like Minecraft,
maybe Metal Gear Solid is Tom.
Well, see, Minecraft, that's another one, like Call of Duty, FIFA and the Wii. Minecraft is that of this gen so far.
Yeah.
That is just ridiculous.
Kids can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
It's like Lego.
Ridiculous, yeah.
But you look at Minecraft and look at the...
it's literally they're playing Lego, but on a computer rather than playing with the toy.
Yeah, I tell you, working in a game shop has really given me insight into this sort of thing, actually. Like, Minecraft is just mental. People are crazy about it. People are crazy about the Toys to Life, Disney Infinity. Lego Dimensions is going to be fucking massive when it comes out 2 weeks from now, whenever it comes out. But video games have more of a presence than they have literally ever had.
And
in the general, like, people don't collect whatever the hell we used to collect. People collect Skylanders and Disney Infinity. The little kids.
Like Amiibo.
Yeah, they get them. We can get hold now. Now no one wants them. But yeah,
gaming will get there. I think it will. Like, for example, the Prime Minister will have periodically in his life, he'll read books, he'll go out and watch films at the cinema, and he'll see things on TV. How many times is a man of his generation going to be sitting on a video games console?
Our Prime Minister has publicly admitted to playing Candy Crush.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay then.
Which says a lot about the guy's state of mind.
Filling into my argument before then, people playing video games, but I think in 20, 30 years' time, when the majority of the population has at least been exposed to video games throughout their life, I think the attitude will definitely be different.
100% agree.
Going back to Minecraft, look at yes, they've programmed what you can do, but they did not program people building Minas Tirith. They did not program...
People building Denmark.
Yeah, that's incredible. And
Minecraft, you do kind of have as much free will as I think it's possible to have in a video game, really.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're limited with the tools you've got, but then isn't that pretty much you're allowed to do whatever the hell else, basically?
Yeah, that's the point of it.
Yeah.
Like life.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why games just very quickly, like Telltale games, are getting more and more popular. There's not free will, but you pick and choose, and your choices affect the game world, and therefore it changes. But
so it's a much more personal experience.
Yeah.
than a film, where every other person has gone and seen these.
But a film can
is
be a
literally
very
just this is your
personal.
entertainment. There you go.
Yeah,
No,
but
a film can be a very personal experience.
But a film is like, oh,
Yeah, it can be, yeah.
this is how I interpreted that scene. But a Telltale game is,
I made that scene.
yeah, I made this happen, and then oh, that happened as
Yeah.
this character died. I could have saved them. I can go back, save them, and see where that takes me. And I just think you don't get that with films. And also, I'll tell you something about people said like books, and I don't think a lot of books aren't actually that great, even published books. No, I really don't.
You read them all?
Not all.
You read every book?
There's books I've read that are terrible
Tom,
and hard to
book
read.
critic.
And,
Yeah.
and then there's books you read that are like, this flows really well, this means something to me. And I think that to say, oh, this highbrow writing, which sucks, is better than any video game that's entertaining, is just insulting.
Let me ask you this. You're a guy who loves film. Which, if you had to live without films or games, which would you live without?
Film.
Wow. Didn't hesitate.
He's definitely swaying.
Didn't
Like
hesitate.
seriously, since we've gotten properly into games now, there's PS4 and everything.
I think films are dying. That's for a topic, not for this channel.
Mm. Yeah.
Film, what people just won't make films anymore.
I think it's a big topic.
Blimey.
Alright. Well,
Yeah,
stay
games,
tuned.
that's- Yeah. Yeah.
But like, just back to books. George R. R. Martin made a point that when he was a kid, like people said, reading comic books or like reading sci-fi or fantasy, the teachers would go, "Oh, why are you reading this rubbish?" But you assume because it's about something different, that it's rubbish. Video games are different. It's different from film. It's different from books. But it doesn't mean it's bad. I think people are afraid to try new things. And even though video games have been around technically since the 60s, but
I think a big issue with video games, just very, very quickly, as opposed to books and TV and film, is that they have a much higher barrier of entry. Just in general.
Well, it's
If
expensive,
you hand someone a film and go, watch this, or a book and go, read this, they're fine. If you go, here's a controller, now play this, they'll be like, if they've never done any of these things before, they'll be like, what the fuck do I do? How do I use this? Thing's like intimidating me.
Yeah.
Even the more simple games.
yeah.
So
Which
yeah,
is why
maybe it's
mobile
that
gaming is taken off. really well.
difficulty of access that is going to be a bit of a stumbling
Well, especially again to the older generations. All the newer generations are just being exposed to it immediately, basically.
block.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
think that's a really good point.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much all we've got time for today, guys.
That was a very meandering game chat, I thought. But it was a big
Classic
topic.
8-Brit game.
It was a big topic, so.
Yeah, it was a big topic. Anyway, subscribe to us, guys, and let us know in the comments below what you thought of today's topic. Do you think that games are culturally not as accepted as film and like music and TV and books and that sort of thing?
And if not, will they ever be?
Yeah. But until next time, guys. Goodbye.
Ta-ra.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 829. Wow.
Episode 8!
Wow, that's a long time ago.
I've lost it. That's it.
Nope, there.
You set up now.
Who really knows in this workaday world?
What does that mean?
I don't know. Right. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 29 of the 8-Brit Game Chat. As always, we're 8-Brit Gaming and I'm your host Tom Powter. Joining me is Tom Roach, Adam Bennett and Javid Rahman. Guys, remember to subscribe. Alright.
Keep the first one.
Yeah.
You always get left. You always get what you want.
Alright.
Let's just fucking get this done.
Yeah, that's it.
What happens?
Let's
You
do it.
always get.
Shut up.
Put your snot tissue away.
Yeah.
Lovely.
That is not good.
Disgusting.
I'll remember.
Alright, come on.
Oh, it's by the Wii U. It's by the Wii U, so I'll never go near it.
I like that. That should open. We should open with that. That's good, man. Hello everyone.
No, you can't do that. Okay.
The Wii thing.
Right. We'll just have to get that.
Oh well. That came good.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 29 of the 8-Brit Game Chat. As always, we're 8-Brit Gaming and I'm your host Tom Powter. Joining me is Tom Roach, Adam Bennett and Javid Rahman. Guys, remember to like and subscribe our videos and to subscribe to our channel because we really need the support and we really appreciate it, and to start the video again.
Oh,
I wasn't happy with it.
okay.
Can't keep the first page, we've got to do it, eh?
I like
Well,
the
and more
Wii U.
importantly, he went straight into getting rid of do it again.
You like what, Roach?
Big butts and you can't lie.
Not that.
Big back.
Oh yeah, I just say this before. The last thing that happened before work is hen do. Oh, that's a fucking nightmare.
What, at the airport?
Yeah.
Who's having a hen do it now?
That is a wild place to go.
They were coming through and they were all like throwing dildos
Literally the worst person to try and deal with that would be him as well, wouldn't you?
What would you say? So imagine I'm a woman who's just throwing a dildo. What would you say to
Mum,
me?
stop it.
To try and keep the peace?
I say, ma'am, could you put that in the tray?
Madam! Madam!
As they walk past it, they each slap you with it in turn.
What if you had to? What if? Oh no, you didn't have to search them. Because could you imagine if he had to search them and discovered
This treasure trove of dildos.
One bag just all tilted. This goes through the sky.
Well, the flight's long. They need ammunition.
Oh, jab it.
That was rough.
There we go. See, everyone stopped.
Roaches,
Fucking
roaches,
Fucking hell.